Hi, how are you? How's your Thursday going? Well, I hope. Please subscribe. You've got to see my matching today. I've got a pink top on, pink hugs, pink highlighter. She's good to go. Feeling like Barbie on steroids. Hope you're having a good day. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, because I've been subjected to some sort of BS on Twitter today, mainly from men. Misogynistic men. Oh, honestly, see if any of these people are married or have children or have a life or have a job. I'm just like, how? Reason being, I want to speak about other stuff. I want to speak about the the Ella Toone red card appeal being won. Manchester United have won that, and obviously my last video was about the red card and what that means for the league and blah blah blah. Anyway, they've won that appeal, and Sumanan from Spurs is now the bad guy, and she's been charged with successful deception of the referee with an act of simulation. This has happened before in the Premier League with an Everton player in I think 2021. But I haven't really heard of it. They've really made an example of her. And I wonder how you feel about that, because I put a thing up on Twitter and it's really, it's really caused a little bit of a real kind of debate on it and what the rules are and blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, oh my goodness, like it didn't feel like she needed to be charged with that. Right? We all know that she held her face, but Ella Toone at the same time did go and put her hands towards her, even if it was a tap, even if it was like a flick, in that moment you kind of cover your face. I'm not defending Sumanan's actions because it was dramatic, and it wasn't a clear act of simulation, but Ella Toone also did put her hands at her. She did put her hands towards her. And it was bizarre. Football Crazy says, but she wasn't sent off for a foul followed by a push. She was sent off for violent conduct. And you have rightly agreed that that's not what it was. If it was what you said, then there could be no argument. It was a straight red for hitting her in the face, and that had to be rescinded. Very, very good point. Well, is it? I don't know. Is it a good point? It's really hard to get this right. Agree that Sumanan acted and should have been booked at the time. However, Toone committed 2 yellow card offences, not violent conduct, and should have walked. Also a very, very good point. So 2 kind of opposing arguments there that has us all thinking. Also Gavin saying, this happens every week in the Prem. Please, players get an arm across the chest and go down holding their face like they got a knockout punch, and never once seen a male player called out for this. It's like, oh, the fingers brushed off him. Exactly. I hope this has been said in massive jest. Violent conduct. She pushes her in the arm with hardly any force. There's more contact on set pieces than that. And yes, correctly, lasso should be done for deceiving an official. Why, when her arm is impacted, she holds her face. It goes on. Sumanan grabbed her face when her face was not touched. The video proved it. We go on and on. It's funny because I feel that the FA have made an example of Sumanan in this for an act of simulation, and it's not really consistent with how they would view other football and whatever like that. I do agree it was an act of simulation. I do agree with that. But also the red card being rescinded, I was like, okay, it's gone full 180 from one bad guy to another. Let me know what your thoughts are on it. You can leave me a comment. I feel that everybody's got something to say about this, but I think Ella Toone being back into that Man United squad, well, it changes everything, doesn't for the league, because she's just such a solid key player. She's everything as to how Manchester United play, and having her back for, instead of being without her for 3 games, is what exactly Mark's going to need, and it might be the reason that they go on to win the league. I'm not saying that can happen, but there definitely is a title race on at the minute, and that is brilliant. Anyway, moving on, I want to speak about the Onelove armband, and I also want to mention that in the Arnold Clark Cup tonight, when you watch it, it's kicking off not too long away. The girls are going to be wearing pins for ovarian cancer on their jackets that they'll wear above their strips during the anthems. And the reason that they're doing this is to raise awareness for ovarian cancer. And for, God rest her soul, June Mead, Beth Mead's mum, who passed away in December from ovarian cancer. Sorry, I don't know if it was December, please. I don't know when it was. I forget I even said that. For when Beth lost her mum to ovarian cancer. And I just actually was reading that before I started speaking to Jim White and Simon Jordan on TalkSport about the Onelove armband, and I was reading that and thinking what an amazing opportunity for the Lionesses to line up in a competition tonight, wear those badges and raise awareness for what is known as a bit of a silent killer, as ovarian cancer, and what an opportunity for them. They seem to, a lot of women's footballers and the Lionesses lead by example. They do their talking on and off the pitch. They signed that letter and sent it to government after they'd won the Euros, and they're actually seeing now, by the way, a rise in everybody getting access to football, and these young women, and specifically BAME background as well, getting access to football. So the Lionesses make change. You've got to give them that. Leah Williamson said yesterday that she wanted to wear the Onelove armband, and it wasn't really a question going into this competition. And then of course there was the Saudi backing, the Saudi Arabia sponsorship being mooted for the Women's FIFA World Cup. And I didn't really get a minute to sit and say just how appalled I was by that, because in 2017 in Saudi Arabia, women couldn't even attend a football game there, and now they're getting the sponsorship to the Women's World Cup. And it just shows you how tragic FIFA operates sometimes. There is no love lost. They've got no respect for the women. They've got no respect for any player going into this World Cup. There is a community in the LGBT community in women's football, and they couldn't be or wouldn't be accepted in Saudi Arabia. So I'm appalled that this is maybe happening, you know. And then the debate I had today with Simon Jordan was to do with you know, expressing that and wearing the armband going into the Arnold Clark Cup, despite the rules from FIFA still being that it was banned because of the Men's World Cup, which of course took place in Qatar. Now that the Women's World Cup it's taking place in Australia, the women still want to wear the armband, but the Saudi sponsorship, you wonder if that will conflict things, or you wonder if they will be then taking the armband off, or if they will maybe cave to pressure or cave to FIFA. You do wonder. So I was debating this today, and actually at the end of it all, I look and go, I love that sports people can represent, can use their voice to highlight something in society that's wrong or to help the greater good. I think it's brilliant. And what I went up against today was that not everybody has to care about everybody's sexuality in sport. Not that it has to be out there, not that it would change the sport, not that it would change anybody's performance, but I actually think that's so wrong. I think, especially in the women's football community, that if there's a player who speaks out and does it, or speaks about vulnerabilities or insecurities or something that they had been worried about or needed support about, they often get the backing of the fans, and the fans like that insight. Now, I'm not sure it's going to be like that forever, but for now, I think it's important. And I think that if the Lionesses, if Republic of Ireland, who open the World Cup, want to wear the Onelove armband, and they want to wear the rainbow laces, and they want to paint themselves red because they're on their period, do it. You know, raise awareness, you know, put yourself out there, be a leader, lead by example, do what it is that you have to do for the better of society. And the conversation I had today with Simon Jordan, whom, by the way, I really respect and I got on with, well, it's just like banging your head off a brick wall, because he doesn't care. You know, he actually sits there and says, I don't care about women's football, I don't like it. Therefore, I'm like, well, if it's not close to you and you're not respectful of it, then you're going to be disrespectful of the idea that these women want to raise awareness, go and play a tournament whilst continue to better the women's game. And then he was almost saying, well, you could boycott it, you could go on, you know, you could pull out, whatever like that. And I'm like, oh, the difference is that FIFA shouldn't have done this in the first place, and it's not up to then the women to correct them at all times and make things better. They should be better. FIFA should be better than this. And I just you know, some of the tweets I've got today, it's like, Jesus, you know, Jesus. A guy actually called Shebs, and my nickname is Shebs, found me on social media on Instagram and sent me this message like, I'm so pleased that I got to hear you get hung out to dry. It was so embarrassing, the nation got to hear you get your arse kicked, all that. It's like, how have you actually taken the time to send me this DM, you big loser? Painful listening to Shaban, completely failing to see Simon Jordan's well-structured arguments and answering like a petulant teenager. Simon Jordan presenting cold facts really has Shaban rumbled. I'm like, but what are you talking about? It's opinions. We have a difference of opinion. You're allowed to have a difference of opinion. I don't go on and tell Simon Jordan about business because I don't have a place for that. He has a place there and uses his place to slate women's football. That for me is very, very clear. So naturally I'm going to be the bad guy in all this, or the hormonal, screechy, shrill mess that I am. Anyway, I know you guys like to listen, and it's lovely to talk to you about this and have support. Anyway, who cares? It just apparently I'm woke as well. I don't think I'm woke. I just think that's how I see it. I don't know, maybe we all agree on this. Leave your comments, let me know. A few things to get into. I'm going to go watch the Lionesses play because they kick off any minute now, and I'll probably do a video tomorrow, and I'll speak to you then. Have a good one, lots of love, stay safe, and keep doing what's right for you, okay? Mwah.